Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I'm your host, Ruben Calvillo, and I have a special guest, Mr. Wink from Third Coast Sports TV. Welcome to the channel, Mr. Wink. I just want to give you, thanks because, when I just started, I'm still new at this, but when I just started, you were the one person that I went to ask questions, and the best advice you told me was to be real and to represent. And I think I'm doing that and appreciate you for, giving me advice along the way.
Hey man, I'm glad you had me. One fan to another. One man to another. Happy. You could ask. You feel confident enough to ask me a question. I can give you some sort of advice, and at the end of the day, I feel like what works for me could very well work for you. We got different ways of doing it, but hey, as long as you're happy, that's all what the end goal is going to be, along with everybody who views what you got going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the schedule just came out yesterday, and a lot of people are talking about it. And I don't know about you, Mr. Wing, but I have never seen a harder four games for us. We start off with the Super Bowl winning champs, the Chiefs. You
Mm-hmm.
then follow it up with the MVP Lamar Miller.
Right.
And then you follow up with a Steelers team that almost made the playoffs last year because of that awesome defense, but yet they get a healthy Big Ben and a healthy Juju. It's going to be absolutely, crazy these first 3 weeks. What were your first reactions to this schedule?
I mean, when I said, I was seeing little things when I was able to check. I've been so busy, with what I got going on the road that I haven't been able to been as, you know, guys be able to reach out to me as much as they would like to. But for me, it's just like it shows right out of the gate that whatever Bill O'Brien what he lacks is going to be it's not going to take you long to find out exactly what we're dealing with this football team. His vision will be seen right out of the gate, the same way we saw his vision last year against the Saints. Yeah, it's a team, like I stated, before the season. Shout out to Soft Sports and Honcho, everybody on the round table. And one of the many points that I made, along with the round table, is that yeah, we'll be in games all year offensively, but make no mistake about it, the defense will let you down.
Yep.
Defense was at the very bottom, like I said it would. I said the Tennessee Titans defense would be better than the Houston Texans. Guess what it was? Maybe not namesake, but when it came to numbers, when it actually came to showing up against teams consistently that they should not beat, they beat those teams with ease, even in the playoffs. And there was no reason for the Tennessee Titans to finish as a wild card team on the very last week. And, all of a sudden they get all of this steam. And this is a coach that just left your organization who was with you the entire time. And over the last 3 years has went to a division rival, coached this team up and got them to a place where they're in the AFC Championships, a place you can never even fathom of getting to as the Houston Texans head coach. Um, it makes no sense to me that this man doesn't take his job more seriously. And the way he thinks that he's taking his job serious is by letting go other guys. I'm going to bring guys in so we can show that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have to rely on you year in, year out. He think he's slick by saying this, but he's not really fooling guys like me who've been watching this football team, along with many others. People choose to see it in different lights, and I understand that everybody has an opinion. But it's clear what the man has been doing to me, and he's going to be in another season where, yeah, we very well may just win the division. So the hell what? When are you going to be tired of just the division? When are you going to be tired of being third or fourth seed? When are you going to start moving into the second or first round buys and being a top two seed, a team that needs to be reckoned with, and nobody? You're always a wild card team. Who has to fear you? You've done nothing in the wild card when it all boils down to it. You're 2-4 in the playoffs, and Bill O'Brien has been outscored 81-31 against the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid in the 4 year time period. Who are you to be? Who are you? Who are you? Who
And
are you?
that's the main point that a lot of people are frustrated because, yes, we do win the divisions, but the rest of your division, the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, have all been one game away from the Super Bowl. And that's where I think the frustration is starting to kick in. So let me ask you this. The past 2 years, the Houston Texans have started slow, 0-3 and 1-2. When you see the Chiefs, Ravens, and Steelers, there's a good chance this team goes 0-3. And the thing that fears me is, yes, that Bill O'Brien handed over play calling to Tim Kelly.
Right.
Yes, that Anthony Weaver is the defensive coordinator.
Right.
At 0-3, you don't know what's going to happen with O'Brien. He may say, hey, Rat, come back down. And hey, Tim Kelly, I'm calling down the offense. That scares me.
Hey, they call people like us who think rationally about that when it comes to Bill O'Brien. They call us haters. They call us, dysfunctional. They call us not fans of the Houston Texans because you say what's loud. One thing I'm not willing to do, and I'm going to be explaining to you because I've done it on many other platforms. I love this team so much that they're a part of my DNA. Like literally, this ink that this emblem mixed with my blood in 2012, and I made it a part of my body. Make no mistake of how committed I am to the Houston Texans when I'm willing to put something that's not even that I have no real involvement with outside of that. They're a part of my city where I grew up, and you mean to tell me that you're saying the citizens of Houston can just be swindled whenever they want to? I'm just going to willingly allow people to just run amok. We got soft media. You don't have guys call these guys out for what it really is. This dude always gets a pass. It's always some underlining. It's always some like he's a little baby and he needs to be picked up from school once again. He keeps making the same mistake, but he won't get a spanking. He just gets to goes back. He just gets to goes to school the very next day, make the same mistake, embarrass his parents, and nothing's going to be said about it. And when he grows up, who knows what he's going to turn into? Hopefully not Ted Bundy, but you never know. And um, it's just one of these things, man. Bill O'Brien, I don't know what this guy's, motives are. I really think he has problems that are deeper than the Houston Texans organization.
Honestly, don't know what happened. But the last thing that I heard you say, that you think that there is something going on with O'Brien, at home.
Yeah, like I really think that things really aren't panning out for him. From a life perspective, and he comes to work and he makes the worst decisions possible, and he's being made a joke, and he knows he's a joke full heartedly because he openly admitted to how much he sucks at his own job. And
Hmm.
when another man who has who's in the situation that he is, where he's supposed to be a leader of men, and to get rid of a player like DeAndre Hopkins, who was right there by your side to make sure you didn't make a fool of yourself, pushes you in the locker room and shows that he has, some sort of tact and that he doesn't want, as embarrassing as you just made us look on the field, why is there any reason to have any supposed distractions, if you will, from the team? How come he's the only distraction? How come he's the only distraction? And he's the only reason that the Houston Texans are really being talked about right now. And it's such a shame that the Houston Texans don't go out of their way and get players like this to, like, on a marketing level or at the highest of the food chain. And now all of a sudden, because he's come out and it has to be, you know, paired with something negative, that now Bill O'Brien just makes himself look even more inept at his football job. And it's not even him, it's really the organization and the power that they believe in. And it just goes to show you they have no damn clue what they're doing, and they won't be a franchise who can be rooted for long.
And
The
it's
only
frustrating, as
right,
a fan because, since O'Brien's been here, I was a freshman in high school and now I'm almost done with college, right?
right,
We've seen teams good turn to bad and are now contending. The Ravens, the 49ers, hey, the Bills are somehow relevant. And and when we have Kubiak, and my only question is like, it's kind of the same thing. Like,
right.
like we haven't
It's
just.
worse. It's worse. It's worse because at the end of the day, when you get Kubiak's second year, we were like already tied with the division. We were like, okay, we can get to the division because we had did it, at such a high level, and even for us to have a backup quarterback in our first year, and then for the team to be as good as they were, especially in the way that they won games, like they just. They were just thrashing dudes all over the field, and we lost that tenacity with Bill O'Brien. People are acting as if the team that he has now. I seen some stuff on Twitter today where people are acting like, "Oh, is this the best team?" It's nowhere near the best team because this team doesn't have nowhere near the amount of heart that the 11, 12, 14, 15, and 16 teams had. From 17 on back, this team has been soft. It has been soft. Honey Badger called it out. He was extremely right. And guess what? He left to become an All-Pro and won a Super Bowl. You can't look at the rate that people and players leave this football team and have success beyond their wildest dreams elsewhere. We're the starter team for every player in the ring. We're the jump-off team. Don't worry. People are going to have their turn. And no matter what. You can't go. You're going into another year where you have a talented football team, and make no mistake, when I make statements, I'm not saying that I'm not talking about the players at all. I'm talking about Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien constantly misutilizes players. He plays them in and out of position. He puts too much on their plate early, and he doesn't have the heart to do what works. How many times have we seen this man doing something that the other team just could not stop? And he gets away from him, he gets too cute, and he ends up calling the game. And then it's either, if we do win, it's either we're blowing them out and we let the team back in, or the team, he has no right to be on the field and we just get blown out, hence the Ravens game.
Just like
and the that.
Yep.
Come on, man. Like, you can't be taken seriously every time you get a major point of success, and when you make it seem like you're trending in the right direction, you immediately fall on your face exactly a week later, and you show the reason why you can't be trusted by me and many others as yourself. And somehow, some way, you want Houston Texans to believe and be fed a bunch of bullshit that we know isn't true. I don't lie to my loved ones. You can do so, but I choose not to do that.
Yeah, and then, just adding, like you said, that Broncos game to me was an eye-opener because I'm not going to lie to you. I did like O'Brien until that Broncos game. Everything hit me at once that this guy isn't the right guy because you beat a team that has basically been your daddy for the past 8 years. And everybody's like, oh, Jay Glazer said that Bill O'Brien needs to be considered a head coach of the year. And we were like, okay, we're going to smack the Broncos and try to get, a high seed. And then they ended up smacking you, and then it hit me. I've seen teams with less talent win.
Right. The Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee
Titans are doing it at a much higher level than the Houston Texans. Think of the last 4 years. The Tennessee Titans have been in this division since he's been here. Let's name some of the teams that they've been able to beat. This is with Deshaun Watson. This isn't even with Deshaun. It doesn't even matter. The Tennessee Titans are beating like the Packers years ago. They're beating the Patriots back-to-back years. Like, they're beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs and in the regular season. They didn't beat them this past playoff game, but make no mistake, the Tennessee Titans have been handling the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been beating teams like the Seattle Seahawks. They were beating teams that the Houston Texans could only dream of beating. We have the talent to beat them, and when we're playing at our absolute best, no team can beat the Houston Texans. But you always take your foot off the gas. Oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Oh, it's bad sportsmanship if I keep my foot on your neck. Dudes keep their foot on your neck the whole game, pedal to the metal. And Houston Texans fans have to go into work and defend themselves, get in fights, be angry, because you can't fulfill your bargain and you ruin my enjoyment throughout the week as a sports fan. We can't be taken seriously as a fan base. We damn sure can't be taken seriously as an organization, because look at what it's doing, and it's been making headline news for the last month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on the news for the past, like you said, ever since the D-Hop trade, and, it's embarrassing. It really is, because they're not talking about one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. They're talking about a head coach who just gave away an All-Pro for David Johnson. You just overpaid for Randall Cobb. You just traded a second-round pick for Brandon Cooks, and I actually like that pick, but still, like It's like you try to justify what you do for tough, smart, dependable people. And all the people that you've brought in have not been dependable.
And more than one way. So when you have that, and when they're coming from organizations who actually win, which is the problem, like and at the end of the day, you have an organization that when they do take a players, see these are the risks. When I say that I want the Houston Texans to take a risk, I mean like when Earl Thomas is in free agency, you go get him.
Yep.
Like there's no reason that Earl Thomas at a need that you need, and we could have had Justin Reed paired with Earl Thomas, and he wanted to come here, and somehow, some way, you can't get that done. You can't re-sign Honey Badger. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't keep Clowney because you're soft. You can't keep DeAndre Hopkins because you don't know how to not be disrespectful and keep this man's personal business out of your mouth, along with shipping him out of here for poor compensation, and all this man had to do was say, man, I want a raise, because he knew you would get him out of there. That goes to show you have no idea what you're talking about. Anybody who supports you is questionable. Anybody who has anything nice to say about you, I automatically have red flags in my brain. You can't be reasoned with. And at the end of the day, I can see what he's trying to do. Yeah, it's not hard to see what he wants to do. This man has had all sorts of speed at his helm and playmaking ability for years now. Don't give me that dudes are now all of a sudden are going to come to the Texans and be healthy when we have one of the poorest ratios of players who get hurt. Like we're talking about like superstar players. We're not even talking about just the guys who are filling in other positions of need, and somehow, some way, now all of a sudden Bill O'Brien is going to elevate them to a level they can never play at. No, they're going to do that after they leave the Houston Texans. Anybody he believes in does not make it on this football team. That's from free agents. That's from people from the draft. And these are his guys now. Who else does he have to blame it on? Doesn't matter, because his best friend Cal is going to give him all the grease he wants, and he's going to just one day he's finally going to slip, and he's going to end up falling out the edge of the cliff. And he's already dug his own grave as far as how he can be viewed by media and the rest of the league. When you can make decisions like this, it's no way I could support you being a head coach. You can only coach for the Texans, or a team or an organization that's ran like the Jaguars or the Browns or somebody like that. Somebody who doesn't win anyway will take a chance on you. But make no mistake, no winning team with a winning culture would ever employ Bill O'Brien. It's just not possible.
I completely agree. And it's just like every move that he makes is personal. Clowney was personal. DeAndre Hopkins, believe it or not, it was personal.
Of course.
And then let's add some more fuel to the fire. I'm not sure if you heard about the Deshaun Gibson stuff going on, but apparently Deshaun Gibson wasn't happy about playing Week 17, and why would you? It was a meaningless game.
Right.
Apparently him and O'Brien had a confrontation, and then we see later on that Deshaun Gibson is put on IR. And then Landry Locker goes on Sports Radio 610, and he says, I talked to people. They said that Deshaun Gibson shouldn't, he would have been able to play in the playoffs. Now, to me, it's like O'Brien is just sabotaging this team just because if you don't agree with his way, it is the highway.
He did the same thing to Kiki Kuti all year. Yep. He's not the only player. Duke Ejiofor, he's good as gone. Unless this man is Myles Garrett or somebody like that, if he's not playing like Aaron Donald, there's no way he's making this football team. These are moves that I seen Deontay Foreman before he was cut. I said way before he was cut. And people were like, "Wait, you crazy? This ain't gonna happen." I said, "Just watch." Sure enough, he was cut. He'll be gone. Duke Ejiofor will be gone. If DeAndre Hopkins is gone at the height of his career and he's the best player on the Texans, nobody else is safe with J.J. Watt. Why are you sitting here acting as if anybody else outside of number 99 is safe on this football team? Nobody's safe. Not Deshaun Watson. Larry Tunsil just got a contract, and he can be out of here next year if he gets out of line. You think we're actually paying guys even as we get rid of them, and we're still paying their salaries?
Yeah,
while they're on other football teams. Don't tell me what we're not going to do with Bill O'Brien at the helm. We've already done it already. Why are you acting as if you don't see this? Why do people always have to constantly remind you and hold the mirror up as to what we are and who's running the show? And somehow you you want to live in the matrix on purpose? I took the red pill on purpose. You can take the blue pill and be safe and hope you can get some season tickets to go to a Super Bowl for a team that you represent won't even be there.
And that's just, it's honestly very, very frustrating, man, because this is Texas, man. This is football. We eat, breathe, live football.
Love it.
And you don't get that from Bill O'Brien. Nothing about this Houston Texans team says Houston. The Astros have it. The Astros love Houston. The Rockets have it. Every picture, James Harden and Westbrook are throwing up the H.
Right.
Nothing about this Houston Texans team says Houston whatsoever.
Not at all. And I agree, and that's one of the many points, and that's why I take what he does so personally, because this is a place that I love. We got a certain swagger, we got a certain mindset. The people act a certain way, and when it's go time, we have a certain way about us and how we get things done. And Bill O'Brien does not fit the mold of the city, and he brings the city down in more than one way than you can possibly imagine. And he makes us look like a joke. And everybody knows that we have talent. People can name off the talent. People can sit here and say, yeah, they got such and such. Yeah, they got this. They got Whitney Merciless. Oh, man, him with the David Clown. Oh. We got all of this at our helm. And at the end of the day, the media can even say, yeah, they got such and such. Yeah, this is a great team. They got Deshaun Watson. We know what he can do. But somehow, some way, under Bill O'Brien, he's regressed. His numbers stayed the same. His passing numbers went down. Yeah, his passing percentage and things, his completion percentage and things of that are up to par. His yards per attempt and things like that. But when it comes to wins, that went down. This man has to be a miracle man at the end of games, and he's not. And he doesn't even have the help of the defense because Bill O'Brien isn't giving Romeo Crennel or anybody else nothing on defense. You want this man to beat you with no secondary, no front seven, and you got players that you want to get rid of, and they can go to other football teams and go to the playoffs. But somehow, some way, you feel that's beneficial to your football team. And Lord forbid, I have superstars on my team because I'm from Massachusetts. This is how we get it done. You're not part of that winning franchise.
Yep. And the problem is he thinks he is.
That's the worst part.
Is he thinks he's Belichick, and then it's frustrating. So before I let you go, man, I'm not sure if you've seen the whole schedule. I'm gonna just go, Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Vikings, all these guys. What do you think is a realistic record for these Houston Texans, honestly?
And judging by what we've seen them do last year, they beat some teams that they shouldn't have beat. They beat some teams that, okay, Deshaun Watson was just that dude, and we know who he is, and we want him to be in that conversation of being a MVP and actually perform that way. But I'd say 9-7, 10-6. Main reason why is because of the division. The division is going to help this football team out, and that's the only thing that keeps them afloat. So you mean outside of the division, this team has to win 6 other football games. That's hard for them to do. They're able to do it on a very high level, but the organization is so soft that they always allow football teams to be neck and neck with them when they shouldn't.
Yep.
It's frustrating to watch. And to the people, I mean, you can fan however you want, but at the end of the day, it's two sides to this story. And the Houston Texans have been, they've been flaccid.
Absolutely.
People wake up and they can never perform when the time comes.
So there are still a couple free agents, out there right now. Do you see any that you think we could add? I personally, I like Eric Reed. I like Everson Griffin.
I love Everson Griffin. Why is he still out there?
I don't know, but I've been saying that we need to get Everson Griffin. I think that J.J. Watt and him could be, absolutely.
With Blacklock, that would be amazing to watch. And Grenard. That would be amazing to watch.
Yes.
And Cunningham roaming all over the field. What the You see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the fact that you even had to ask me this question and you're getting a raw emotion from me right now, and you see that what this guy is leaving on the table, and you think this dude is smart, what the hell is wrong with you? He spent all the money in the wrong areas and have added dudes who will not be on the team in a year or two. Why are we getting these rentals, these stopgap options, all the money in the world, but the people who don't deserve it can be let up for, a pack of condoms and a Sprite?
Yeah, yeah. And just there are some names out there I think that we can help. Timmy Jernigan hasn't signed his deal for the Houston Texans, so that is something to be looked at. But you know, do I think that any of these people are gonna come? I don't think so.
Man, I don't either, man. If they were coming, they'd have been here by now. Okay, yeah, of course moves can be made. Of course guys are going to get hurt, so we don't know what can happen. But some moves happened right before the season last year with Bill O'Brien, because I know that's what the cocksuckers of Bill O'Brien will say. Oh, well, he got Larry Tunsil and Kenny Stills last year. Okay, all right, cool. Kenny Stills was just on the market, and it's like this year when they said, "Hey, this move can be made," it happened. Like there is no, "Oh, you getting wind, it's a rumor." If you hear anybody's name, where everybody thought when DeAndre Hopkins, what the fuck? Even I didn't believe that. And at the end of the day, the impossible happened, and we let go of this dude for David Johnson of all fucking people in the world. No disrespect against David Johnson. He was a great player, but he hasn't been in the last couple of years. He has to be able to look himself in the mirror and say, of course, yeah, I'm injured, but Steven, even being on the field, he still hasn't had the best games that he could have of his career. So why are we acting as if he doesn't have some work to prove? Like, you don't have that much time. Your shelf life is extremely low by being a running back, and you've already sustained enough injuries that could derail you and put you in retirement sooner than later. It's nothing personal when I say what I'm saying. I don't say it with malice. I'm saying it because it's a fact of life.
And that's one thing that I love about you and that I love about the sauce is y'all shoot straight. Y'all don't try to feed the fans any type of bull. And there are some people out there who do it, who say whatever moves that O'Brien does, they're all behind it. But
right.
The people need to be told the truth. Wink, man, thank you for coming on the channel. We have to do this again because this raw emotion that you're bringing is what people need to see. So once again, man, thank you for coming on the channel.
No problem. You can have me on whenever, man. Just let me know.